Hey guys, welcome back to Beach and Fishing. Paul here with you again, and this is my site and channel aimed at everything to do with the world of fishing and outdoors. And it's that outdoors aspect we're talking about today, so I'm going to take you through portable fridge freezers. Now, portable fridge freezers is something that we use a lot when we camp. We like to be able to have frozen meals that we can take away and defrost and heat up while we're out there. It's very easy, especially on your first night. We can keep drinks in it. We don't have to keep going and getting ice, and the advantages of them are quite immense, if that's the word you want to use. As I say, we can take frozen stuff with us. We can keep everything cold, and we don't have to worry about trying to fill ice or wet food or stuff like that. Sometimes we'll put our drinks in a cooler with some ice, but this works fantastically for us. So I just wanted to take you through today some things to look for. Below in the post, I've got 3 recommended options, which I'll run through after this. But I just wanted to run you through quickly, as I said, just some of the things to look for in a portable fridge freezer. Now, first is obviously the size. This is a 60 litre, which is, last time I looked at quarts and litres, they were pretty much the same from memory. So it's around 61, maybe 62 or 63 quarts. If you're in the US and measuring on quarts, don't quote me exactly on that. But obviously the more stuff you want to put in it is the bigger or smaller that you get. This one you wouldn't be using if you're a hiker who likes to hike all the way to the campsite. You're not taking this with you. So you might, if you really want one, you'd have to go a smaller model as it is. I'll take you through the base requirements first and then look at all the extra little things that we've got on it. So obviously we talked about size. And then the second most important aspect is how it works. Now this one is a fridge freezer. So if I open that up and try and tilt it forward without it falling off, you can see there's a little divider in there. That divider there means that the one side is the freezer, one side is the fridge. Now this option is actually pretty cool. Not a lot of them have these, but this option, if I pull that out, it becomes either all a fridge or all a freezer. I put that back in and it becomes a fridge and a freezer. Other models will either be all fridge, which you can make a freezer, so there'll be no gap there. So it just is a fridge or a freezer. And others, the bigger ones, have actually a fridge and a freezer with separate lids. So again, it depends on whether you're more interested in just keeping things cold while you get to your campsite. I have a lot of friends who have these who put them on the freezer while they go out. And then once they get there, they change it to a fridge, because any frozen stuff they have, it'll stay really cold. It sort of works like extra ice inside, I guess. But they're the options you have. So if you want just a fridge, just a freezer, or a fridge freezer freezers are more expensive. Even this one here with that little extra thing in the middle there, that added about $100 to the price of this. So you will pay more if you want the dual models. Otherwise, just think about whether you want a fridge or a freezer. Now, the third most important aspect of this is how you're going to power it. This one is 12 and 24 volt, which means it will run on, and I know 12 volt batteries in the US, 24 volt, I'm not entirely sure what they are in the US or Europe, because I know in the US, obviously you run on 110 volts, we run on 240 volts inside, so I'm not entirely sure how that looks for yours. But at the end of the day, this runs on a battery or on electricity. So if it's running on a battery, the battery could be connected to a generator or a solar panel or something like that to keep the battery charged, and it will then connect to the battery through a cigarette point. I have got a little connector here. I can connect that to that with the clips. It can clip straight on a battery for you from there as well. So that's the first option. I picked up both here. That's the first option you've got, is the cigarette point. So that's how I connect mine to the battery. But as I say, you can get a connector to that, and has the clips that connect it to a battery as well. If the fridge is spec'd up for this, you can even connect it directly to your generator or your solar panel to run it directly. This one won't do that. It needs this little converter in there, but others do. So again, check how it's going to be running for power. The other option I've obviously got here is my 240 volt. So that plugs straight into the power. So if we're at a campsite where there's power, I can plug that straight in. Obviously that's a different point here than what you'll have in other countries. And then that just runs straight off the 240 volt power. and I can do it that way. So they will run on pretty much anything. You just need to make sure that they have the options. Some will only run on electricity, some will only run on 12 volt. These ones like this run on both. Others you'll need to check if you've got the right setup to connect it directly to either an inverter or directly into a generator, solar panel and the like. As I say, when we go off grid, we attach the cigarette lighter directly into the battery. The battery sits in a box which has got the cigarette thing on it, and then that connects off to a solar panel. So you've got your options there. So they're the three main things that you really need to consider when you're looking at your fridge. How big it is, whether it's a fridge freezer or a fridge or a freezer or intermittent change between the two, and how it connects to the power, because obviously they're the three things that will directly run what you're running. Okay, let's look at the extras that you can consider as well. First one here, you might have noticed there's little wheels there. This means you can drag it along the ground, which makes it very handy if you need to move it from A to B. You don't have to lift it, because if you've got a fridge full of beer cans, 4 beer cans and food, we take legs of pork with us and we put them in our little grill and roast that up while we're away, or put it in the smoker if we take the smoker. So that's all quite heavy. So wheels are pretty helpful for that. Obviously I've got handles on the side, so if I want to lift it I could, an extra handle there to help me drag it. Now the other things that this one has is, if I turn it forward, you can see there it's got a little panel. Most of them will have this. This panel will tell me what the temperatures are within the fridge and allows me to adjust the temperature for independently the fridge part and the freezer part. Obviously I can turn it on and off there. There's a few settings for timers and the like, but they're your main settings there, and it will tell me the temperature that it's running. The other thing this one has, while we're at it, a little USB port here, which is really cool if I want to charge my, what we call mobile phones or cell phones. We actually use it to charge up the little power pack that keeps our phones running overnight. So I put the power pack on that during the day, because if it's running on 240 volt, it's not really doing anything else. So it's got a little USB port there. If you've got anything running on USB, LED light strip, lantern, fan, anything that's running on with a USB connector, I can attach that into there as well. What else has this one got? This one has a drainage plug at the bottom. I can't lift it up to show you that, but there is a drainage plug at the bottom of this one. And inside here at the front is a light. So when I open the fridge it up at night, it has a light and I can see inside to what I'm looking at. Other things to look for is good seals. This one has refrigeration quality seals on it. It doesn't have a proper latch, so we do get caught. Our little one goes in here at night and drops it like that, and you can see it doesn't shut. That's the only issue I see with this one, and it is common with these sort of fridges, so make sure they push down properly. Others come with actual latches on the front, so if it's something that if you're somewhere you really want to make sure it's always shut, go to one with the latch, because that way it latches down and keeps it closed. So that's probably, as I say, the only real concern I ever have with this one is that if I'm not concentrating on it, shut it like that, you can see there's that gap there and it lets cold air out, which is, again, if you're on the 240 volt, all you're going to end up in the morning is a lot of ice inside, because fridges do that. They overcompensate and frost up. From 240 volt, you're going to drain your battery, because it's going to work harder to keep that running. But as I say, that's the only problem there. Now the other things you can get down here, I have a cover. I'm not going to try and put this on camera because, to be honest, I don't want to embarrass myself. But this is a cover that sits on the front. You can see it's got a little space there for the exhaust fan. So that's got space there. There's another little vent here, and so it's got the space there for that one. It's got the gap there for the power cords, and it's even got a little space underneath for the plug hole. You'll notice this one here, unfortunately, it's got a little bit of guff on it from last place it said. I haven't cleaned that yet, I should have done that before the video. And then it just zips up and covers up. Now, if you're looking for a cover for your fridge, these are good because obviously they're insulated. They just help keep the contents cold and helps keep the heat from the outside of the fridge, which what that does, if you're in warm temperatures, means the fridge isn't labouring as much because it's being kept a little bit cooler. They also stop them, you don't get the condensation all over the outside of the fridge, which some of them unfortunately do. And it's got little pockets at the front for the power cables and stuff as well. So that's it, guys. That's a portable fridge freezer. As I mentioned, size, type and power are your main considerations, and then everything else on that is either advantage or disadvantage as well. You know, your wheels, your handles, your LED displays. Mine actually runs on a little phone app as well. A lot of them will do that, so you can actually sit at your phone, turn on the app and see what the temperature is of the fridge, so you can turn it up or down. As you see, mine's Bluetooth, so it's only going to work within a certain range. I've seen others which run through satellite and Wi-Fi, so you could be 5 k's away and adjust the temperature of your fridge as well. So that's it for that one, guys. Stick around and we'll now have a look at the 3 options I've come up with. See you then. And we're back, so let's have a look at the 3 fridge freezers that I have come up with for you. So in the post, everything that we've talked about is in here. Something I didn't talk about was the temperature range. So that's another thing to test, to check on when you're looking at your fridge freezer, is what range the fridge has. So the 3 options here, first one is a portable refrigerator. It's 12 volt. It will run from minus 7.6 to minus 50 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit, sorry, so minus 13 to 10 degrees Celsius. So it will work as it's not quite a strong freezer, but it will be cold enough to freeze some things. Magnetic lock, remember I talked about the locks, 19 litres, 20 quarts, so it was about just around a third of the size of the one I showed you. Has a little shelf in it. AC adapter and DC power cord, so it will run on a battery, LED display, low noise, temperature controller, and the like that we talked about as well. So that's quite a good one. Noise is another one we talked about. Mine's a little bit noisy, but not too bad. And most of these are quite quiet as well. So that's my first option there for you. Second one is a 3-in-1 refrigerator. So it means it will run on as a fridge, a freezer, or just as a normal cooler if that's what you want it to run at. It will run on 12 volt and a battery or electricity. I'm not going to keep trying to work out all the difference in voltage between the countries. It runs from 0 to 32 degrees Celsius, so minus 17 to 0 degrees. Oh, that's Fahrenheit to 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius is freezing, so that's very cold. You probably wouldn't be able to use lettuce or put lettuce or anything like that in this one. It will freeze. But again, it's a roto-molded design, so it's really worth looking at if you want something that's really tough. Good latches on it, carrying handles as well, cup holders and a lid, which, as I mentioned before, things you might always want. LED display, temperature controller, and the like. So that's a good option there also for your 3-in-1 fridge freezer. And finally, same brand, this one. Dual zone portable portable refrigerator. So it's what I mentioned at the very start in the other video. So this has got 2 options. So it'll run a fridge and a freezer, and it will run 12 and 24 volts. So you can see there 110 to 240 volts. So it run in both US and Australia if it was used in either. Not that you would, but anyway. Home and car use, you can use that as well. It's quite a good size, 60 litres. So it's the same size as the one I showed you. Metal latches with quality seal, so it will seal nice and tight. 0 to 50, minus 18 to 10 degrees, which makes it a really good temperature range for a fridge and a freezer. There's a basket in each compartment, and you can see it's got the LED lights, tilt operation capabilities, which is another thing that's good for camping. If it tilts, that can sort that out for you as well by turning off. So 40 degree slope, if you're in a 4-wheel drive, that will work for you there. So they are the 3 options we've got there. As I say, depending on your size, depending on where you're taking it and the like, is what you're looking for. So that's it, guys. That's my 3 portable fridge freezers. Hope that was helpful for you. If you're watching within YouTube or in a post, comment below. I'd love to hear what you're using, what you found works well for you, what hasn't worked so well. And of course, if you're watching in YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel as well. That's it, guys. Hope that was helpful. Chat to you soon. Bye.